Supreme Court upholds Trump's second-term victory over Education Department. In a move that has set shockwaves through the political and legal landscape, the Supreme Court has handed President Trump a victory that could fundamentally alter the balance of power between the executive branch and Congress. This decision, which allows the Trump administration to fire more than half of the Department of Education's workforce, has sparked intense debate and raises critical questions about the limits of presidential authority. But here's where it gets controversial: the court's ruling in *McMahon v. New York suggests that Trump may effectively dismantle federal programs by firing key employees, even if Congress has mandated those programs. This has led to accusations that the court is enabling Trump to do indirectly what the Constitution explicitly forbids him from doing directly. And this is the part most people miss: the ruling was issued on the court's shadow docket, a fast-tracked process that often lacks full briefing or oral arguments, leaving many to wonder about the justice's reasoning. #the decision and its implications. The Supreme Court's decision permits the Trump administration to proceed with mass terminations at the Department of Education while the case is still pending in federal court. Education Secretary Linda McMahon described this as the first step on the road to a total shutdown of the department. Is this a legitimate exercise of executive power, or a dangerous overreach? The ruling has ignited a fiery debate, with Justice Sonia Sotomayor penning a dissent joined by her fellow Democratic justices. Sotomayor argues that the firings effectively destroy federal programs mandated by Congress, such as bilingual education initiatives and special education services. And here's the kicker: the Trump administration's plan aligns with an executive order titled "Closing the Department of Education and Returning Authority to the States." This raises a troubling question: is the court allowing Trump to circumvent Congress by gutting federal programs through personnel cuts rather than through direct legislative action? #the impoundment debate. At the heart of this controversy is the concept of impoundment, where a president unilaterally refuses to spend funds appropriated by Congress. Historically, impoundment has been deemed unconstitutional, with even Republican legal scholars rejecting it. For instance, former Chief Justice William Rehnquist once wrote that it's extremely difficult to formulate a constitutional theory to justify a refusal by the president to comply with a congressional directive to spend. Yet, the McMahon decision appears to greenlight actions that achieve the same practical effect as impoundment, albeit through a different mechanism. But here's the counterpoint: the Trump administration argues that the plaintiffs lack standing to challenge the firings, claiming they haven't demonstrated actual or imminent harm. However, Sotomayor counters that this argument is belied by both the record and common sense, citing specific injuries like a state college losing enrollment due to the Education Department's inability to recertify its campus. #the broader context. This ruling comes on the heels of another controversial decision in Trump v. American Federation of Government Employees, AFGE, where the court reinstated a Trump executive order calling for mass firings across federal agencies. Notably, the AFGE decision split the Democratic justices, with Sotomayor arguing that judicial intervention was premature. In contrast, McMahon presented a clearer case, as Secretary McMahon's plan to fire over half of her department's employees was already before the court. So, what's the takeaway? The Republican justices' decision in McMahon, made without explanation, suggests they may be shifting the balance of power in favor of the executive branch. If upheld, this could allow Trump to effectively repeal federal laws by cutting off the personnel needed to enforce them. Is this a necessary check on congressional overreach, or a dangerous expansion of presidential authority? Final thoughts and a call to action. This ruling raises profound questions about the separation of powers and the role of the judiciary in checking executive actions. Do you think the court's decision upholds the Constitution, or does it undermine it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, this isn't just a legal debate, it's about the future of federal programs that millions of Americans rely on. What happens next could reshape the very fabric of our government.